All right. Welcome to this case study interview with an owner of an indoor golf center, Jason Faubert. Say hello to everybody, Jason.
How you doing, everybody?
Great. Well, we wanted to do this interview to kind of, really help people that are looking at number one, our program, the results that our program has been producing, for golf centers as well as golf instructors in right now 5 different English-speaking countries around the world that we've grown into at this point after several years, as well as share with you some really specific tips and advice and mistakes, as well as successful actions and strategies that will help you and really support your success with this case study and really contribute to your results, which is, of course, results are king. And I always say, as Jason knows, documentation beats conversation every time, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's been busy, that's for sure.
That's great. So, tell us, Jason, I know that, just let's start with what's happened for you. Just how about just this week? We're looking at the 2019-2020 season. What's happened for your, indoor golf facility right now? Because I know that you have currently now just went to 4 simulators. You started with
Five.
three. You have 5. Okay, you started with 4. Then you went to 5 simulators now,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Congratulations on the good. But what's happened with you? Just let's talk about your financial statistics this past week. What's happened for you?
Well, this week alone, just over 5,000 in just sales in lessons. A little bit of simulator sale along with that. New marketing strategies, of course, taught by yourself to sell more to the packages. So I'm getting greater revenue every week than I've ever had before.
Right. Awesome. It's great. A $5,000 week is, congratulations. I know you're doing quite a bit better. A lot of times we, talk to individuals when they've are looking at opening up a golf center or they've already opened up a golf center. And, there really hasn't been a proven paradigm until now and a model for financial prosperity, because when people look at golf centers, I don't know if this was but after talking to dozens and dozens and dozens of people that own golf centers, as well as potential investors looking at opening their own, they're looking at trying to fill up the simulator with, 30, 40, $50 per hour time slots and keeping it filled up. And it's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
No.
And no matter what somebody selling simulator companies or people trying to sell franchises try to tell you or sell you, it's BS, or let's just call it false data, misinformation at the very best, because most of them haven't been in the trenches running a golf simulator or a golf facility like we have, in the trenches, right? Selling and making money and making mistakes. So let's look at that, because packages, as we talk about, is most important for what we like to call the lifetime value, the lifetime customer value, which is most important, with our financial stats at the end of the month, end of the year. And packages has been something that you and I have worked together on creating for your center, which is paramount to your financial success. Very, very key component to what you've done. But what I'd like to do, along with the success that you've experienced with our program, is talk about the mistakes that you've made. First and foremost, to share with people looking that either have a indoor golf center or they're looking to open up their first one. So why don't we talk about the biggest mistakes that you've made that you would warn people against? How about that? Because we've all made mistakes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to give a little history, I've been in the business probably the longest in Canada doing the simulator. So I've been lucky enough to build a center that revolves around golf, not around drinking. It's one of those things I've done in the beginning since day one, and I'll continue to do it this way.
So let's talk about the food and beverage part of it, because
it doesn't make any money. Food and bar does not make any money. If you're in the restaurant business, you make money. Food and bar is more of a headache because you're buying food, you're trying to keep food. The regulations on food, we're not selling food here.
Oh, the licensing and the permitting alone is incredibly expensive for a liquor license.
The liquor license brings new headaches. There's new regulations here in Canada that they're changing with the laws. And I don't need those headaches when it comes to just teaching somebody how to play golf or bringing golf to them at a better, for them to be able to train better, and that's what we're providing, is a training academy, not a bar.
Right. Let me
And you
take a
got
look at
to
this.
build that
Now, I've had some simulator companies as well as people selling X, Y, Z franchises, blah, 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 talk about what I call projections. You know, they talk about projections of this and projections of, and I think the licensing in the United States is a little different than, of course, Canada, and then, of course, United Kingdom or South Africa or Australia or a few of the other countries. But just first and foremost, I always recommend against doing food and beverage. Now, it can be a profit center if done properly in certain countries, but
Mhm.
it's not necessary. I definitely don't recommend starting with it. And the investment out of pocket
Yeah.
to create a POS system electronically,
Not
the
even that, the kitchen equipment, all the staff that has to be trained. I mean, yes, we have a bit of food and bar, and that's run to Costco, grab some chocolate bars, some chips, and some basic information, some food and drinks
right.
that are
Have you
prepackaged.
seen franchise companies as well as simulator companies recommending food and beverage as like this
Oh,
primary source of income?
yeah. I mean, everybody thinks that's where you make your money, and some that's where the only money that you might bring in. But that in itself comes with more headaches and more risk to the business.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to say it's a huge mistake for everybody. I'm definitely advising against starting opening up your doors with it, let alone putting out several $100,000 of additional cost and investment for licensing, for build out, for kitchen equipment, for beer taps, and all the other things that have to go along with it, along with the stress and the headache and the employee training.
Well,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
you're in a new business and you hope that you have enough beer in that day to supply the people. And if not, it goes bad and then you're wasting. And it's like just throw your money away. So
Absolutely. So,
there is anything that kind of has an expiry date you're gonna lose money on it.
right. Now, if somebody has a simulator company or an indoor facility and they already have food and beverage and it's working for them, hey, awesome. We can show them how to make more money with it. This is more of a
Good for them.
recommendation for people about to or looking at researching opening one, because, of course, I've seen some companies that is a profit center for them. They're far and few between. The headaches usually outweigh. So if somebody does have one, we can show them how to monetize it better and increase their sales, which is most important with food and beverage, as well as with the overall company profits and the packages that we've created, especially for indoor centers. What other mistakes have you made that you would recommend against, first of all, for a simulator or somebody looking at opening up an indoor golf center?
Well, I mean, I think the very first phone call you and I had, Rob, when I signed up for your program was I used to rely on word of mouth. I had built my business, it was working, and I told you that I worked on word of mouth, and you just sort of laughed at me, kind of like how you're laughing at me right now still. But it was working, but it wasn't making me money. So these new techniques that you've showed me, and I mean, they've tenfold worked. You know, I got lazy. I've tried to run the company myself. I had my own personal things going on in my life. Life changes all the time. And, it took a lot of my time. So I kind of fell off the wagon a bit and, didn't push the business. I was relying on the business to just work itself out. Big mistake. I
Mhm.
always have to stay on top of it. One of the biggest mistakes I think I found in my business is not finding the right people to work the business. And
Mm.
that is still one of those very touchy.
It's always a challenge to just
Yeah,
find
it's a
quality
challenge.
people.
I
Sure.
constantly run into issues with, people's work ethic. Nobody's ever going to work a business as much as an owner. I just have to understand that. But, to get somebody to have a little bit more passion when it comes to the business, that's what I'm still trying to find. You get there and then it's like, they get busy and something else happens.
Hmm.
So, that's my next step, is trying to figure out how to manage my personnel. Um, you know, First make some money,
Hmm.
then maybe get the right people in here.
Hmm.
I read something the other day that actually said the more you make, the better it is, because then you can pay more people or pay a person a little more and then they're going to work better.
Hmm.
Don't pay a cheap person and expect a big profit. It's not going to happen.
It's
So,
true. It's interesting because here in Las Vegas, where I live, there's incentives. People are professional servers at restaurants or bars as a career because they're making $75,000 to $100,000 a year. as a bartender or as a professional waiter or waitress or server. So they treat you with pride. You know, there's a
Yeah.
sense of pride and amazing customer service because they're making a great living, first of all. Some of them get a percentage of the actual sales. So they are doing upselling. Hey, can I get you additional drinks, or can I get you additional appetizers or that dessert? And these other, we call it suggestive selling, with food and beverage, or with, of course, packages. You see it at the movie theaters a lot, where would you like a large Coke with your popcorn? Would you like candy with that actual Coke?
Yeah.
And they are actually trained, and they have mystery shoppers that see if they're doing suggestive selling to increase the lifetime value of a customer for add-on sales. And, you know, a $10 an hour employee, you know,
Well,
it's,
and those are packaged that you've taught us in this program, you know, is the add-ons, the packages, the, you know, upselling stuff, and, you know, get to the root of what people really want, make them happy.
right. Let alone we get to train your employees for you, which is a big added benefit with our program, because they're allowed to participate in our coaching and training sessions twice a week, to train your staff, which is awesome when you find the good quality people as you're growing and expanding.
Yeah.
Awesome. You know, one of the things that I wanted to share, you know, with a lot of the viewers and people that are getting a chance to, you know, look at opening up a golf center, or if they already, you know, own one, is talking about, you know, that idea of the lifetime customer value, because that can make or break their year-end financial statistics. You know, and, you know, when I talk to a lot of people opening up a center, the average cost of opening up a golf center, according to statistics that are out there, the people are promoting at the golf simulator companies. And it's amazing how many people at these quote unquote franchises, I mean, there's not one that can show me financial statistics that are buying into this franchise thing that are making any kind of consistent income, because they're teaching the wrong thing. And they don't teach them, probably the most important part is show them, you know, when you buy a franchise, ideally you're looking for security. The brand name, if you buy a Supercuts, or if you buy a McDonald's, or, you know, things that are established, so there's some safety when you're putting out the $30,000 or $50,000 franchise fee and giving away 6% to 10% of your income every month for life, for the, you know, quote unquote security. And it's not there. There's not one company out there globally that I've seen that can prove to me financially about the net profits, let alone compared to what we've done for golf centers and instructors and golf, you know, business owners now in 5 countries. But there's a lot of BS, you know, and I'm always like, hey, well, great. Well, show me 10 different franchisees that have produced anywhere between 5 figures or more net profit a month. It's not even close. They, you know,
Yeah.
it's a ridiculous request because they don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it is because, you know, the indoor golf center is a fairly new business model out in the golf industry. It's definitely the future, more and more, of golf, I believe. Globally, it's becoming, especially with Top Golf and other golf centers really promoting it, which is great for the industry, great for the business.
Yep.
You know, and business owners like yourself that are doing, you know, very well, and quite a number of our other, you know, clients now around the globe. But the, what I call misinformation that's out there, you know, the business plans that people have put together showing these ridiculous numbers. I mean, you cannot have a profitable indoor golf center selling simulator time. It's not how the business is successful.
No.
You know,
And
first
I mean,
of all, it's misinformation.
simulators are still weather dependent. The indoor golf business is still based on weather. We're in North America, we're really stuck with the idea of indoor golf is still a game. If you look at Korea, indoor golf is 70%
Of their business.
greater than outdoor golf.
Yeah.
And they have full-on tournaments, and they have tours, and they're $1 million prizes in some of these events.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's coming. But North America still has to learn that these simulators are not video games anymore if you buy the right systems.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
you can't rely on simulators time and selling alone. You can't. On average, you could probably say, if you're lucky and have a really good operating indoor business, 50% full on a weekly basis.
At most, right?
At most.
Good.
You know, now weekends, of course, 100% full. come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it all varies on weather, time, what the, if there's holidays one week, if there's not, if, being up here in the north, if we have an ice storm, you might as well just sleep on the couch because it's not busy in here.
Right.
So it's not a business if you're really expecting to make money on sim time, selling golf.
Absolutely.
It's not going to happen. So you have to offset the revenue with packages of golf lessons or upselling to get in the club business or putting on grips or golf balls, anything you can do to get in the golf business.
It's interesting because the packages that we've created for your company, it dramatically shut up your income. But what's great about it is you want to talk about security with what you can offer and with what you can do. And, there's most of the business owners that are opening up a golf center, they're not a golf teacher. And of course, there's very easy workarounds, around that, which is obviously, hiring a golf teacher, whether it be PGA or a non-PGA golf pro, throw a rock and hit an out of work golf teacher that could use some extra money and would love the opportunity of, delivering their services at your golf center. That's for sure. So these packages that we've developed have been, huge, obviously income boosters and money makers. But we want to give people that are looking, especially the business owners without a golf teaching background or something, but they're an investor and a business owner, the real nuts and bolts, black and white truth of people with successful centers that, we've interviewed now. And, we've talked to, there's about 100 to 125 between the United States and North America and Canada right now, about 120, 125 in these parts, of the world. And it's growing in the United Kingdom and some other, Australia and some other countries every single year with the success of the model. Let me ask you a question. What's interesting is, one of the, primary things was how many simulators do I need minimum, to start with? What would be, the bare basics to open up, and have it be a safe investment? I always talk about safety and security and, money's about confidence, how confident
I guess it's the model that you're trying to go after. So if you're looking to build a training academy, you could get away where it's just strictly lessons and a little bit of playtime. 3 simulators, grab 2 or 3 other pros and do that.
That's what I recommend. 3 to 4 simulators, I would think would be nice. Minimum.
If you're looking for a gameplay teaching center, everything, 5 simulators to 6 simulators. Why I say that is league play. You're going to have leagues. You're going to have numerous amount of people coming in.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because league play is a money maker. It's a great common strategy for increasing, simulator sales and another profit stream, because it's definitely something that we recommend to incorporate as quickly as possible is league play. Let's talk about, league play as a money maker. We talked about simulators here and, the kind of minimum they want to go with, the 3 or 4 to start. But league play, what would be your recommendations with league play, for a new center and the benefits of league play?
One of the big mistakes I made in the beginning was making my league play on a dedicated night. What the problem with that runs into is some guys may not make it. They've paid for their, say, allotted amount. Say it's $450 for 10 weeks or something, whatever your costs are. And then they don't show up. Well, they say, well, I've already paid for it. I should get another free round. So what you're ending up doing is you've lost the hour that they played in the league. And then you've given an hour again on another time at no extra cost. And they've taken that time away from somebody else. So really, you've lost the night they were here, and then you've lost again. Nobody ever wants to say, sorry, you missed your league. Too bad. That's not good, but it's not good business. So, of course, you kind of say, yeah, go ahead, play. And then somebody else wanted that time, and they're taking away that time. So what I found over the 12 years of doing this is what we call a flex league. It's flexible. You pay, you come in any day, any time to play your round. If you want to play with another group, you set up the time with another guy and you come in. You also are allowed to bring guests at full price. So there's no loss of revenue. If they book it and then they don't show, then they lose their time and it's only on them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect 15 to 40 to 50 guys all coming in at the same time every week for 10 weeks straight. People have families, people have lives,
Mm-hmm.
things happen, so why not minimize the loss of revenue?
Yeah, the flexibility with that type of a approach for leagues, it's intelligent, smart, it's practical, highly recommended,
Yeah.
great income stream, and utilizing that type of flexibility in the strategy of incorporating it into your centers,
Yeah.
definitely very
And it
recommended.
gets more people in, they join the league, they see how fun it is. Then they bring their friend who says, hey, come join this, see what it's all about. And then they become a client. It's a really good, it fills the holes too of the slow seasons. So
Mm.
when the season is slow, you start a league off and, you get people excited about it. When it's getting towards the end, the league keeps you going indoors. So it's a stretch season for the indoor business. And
Mm-hmm.
us in the North in Canada, we never know if it's going to be a 2-month season or a 7-month season. It's all weather dependent.
Well, Jason, I really appreciate your time. We've covered some great information, on this case study video, given some great tips and hints, some of the results of, our program and what we've done with golf centers like yours. And I appreciate, your time. You are an awesome business owner, and you follow directions in our program incredibly well to the T. And really appreciate the contribution of what you do for for the program. And thanks again for your time. Have an amazingly, even more prosperous week on top of your $5,000 week. We're going to be breaking some more records for your company, I know, with our strategies, aren't we?
Yeah, and I mean those numbers that we're talking, $5,000. That's just me with my coaching. That's not my simulator stuff. I
Right.
mean, you've increased, and just to kind of give a little bit more towards the program, some of the strategies that you've taught me wasn't just for increasing my coaching techniques, it's for increasing customers in the door through your program. So our sales have increased. I think I was looking at trying to make $50,000 a month, with the program. That's, I think, what we talked about in the beginning. And last month I exceeded it by $20,000. So I was 70,000 in a month. It only goes up from there. And that was only 50% sold.
Yeah.
So if I keep going with the techniques and strategies that you've taught me, of course, I mean, I'm looking at, 3-figure numbers every month. And, I got to learn what I've have to figure out is the outdoor business, but that's my next hurdle.
Right. Well, we're always growing and putting on new things. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But thank
And
you
then it's
so
going to
much.
be
Appreciate it.
franchising and, getting the company to grow even further from there. So
Absolutely.
with the right business model built.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
thanks again for your time. I appreciate it. We'll wrap up this case study, on that positive note and your financial success at breaking the $70,000 mark and the growth you've had with our program. So thank you so much again for your time, and have an incredibly prosperous week out there.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rob.